Have you ever remembered something so clearly, only to discover that this reality insists it never happened? You know the feeling. It is not the hazy fog of forgetfulness, but a sharp, crystalline memory of a specific event, a conversation, a logo, or a name. You can see the colors, you can hear the tone of voice, you can feel the texture of the moment in the archives of your mind. But when you look for the evidence, when you try to verify that moment in the physical world, it is gone. Not just missing, but erased. The people involved look at you with confusion. The records show a different history. The world tells you that you are wrong, that your mind is playing tricks, that you are simply mistaken. But deep down, in the quietest, most primal part of your gut, you know you aren't crazy. You know that memory is real. It just doesn't belong to this version of the world. What if I told you that the memory is real, but you are no longer the person who lived it? What if the reason your past seems to glitch is that you have moved to a future that requires a different history to sustain it? This is not just about misremembering a movie quote or the spelling of a cereal brand. This is about the fundamental architecture of your existence. If you've ever felt like reality doesn't quite match your memory, tap like right now and tell me in the comments, what's the one Mandela effect that still haunts you? That lingering sensation, that subtle dissonance between what you recall and what you see, is not a failure of your brain. It is a symptom of movement. We tend to view our lives as a single linear track, a train moving from birth to death on a fixed set of rails. We believe the past is etched in stone, immutable and frozen, while the future is the only thing yet to be written. But this model of reality is a comforting illusion. It is a simplified interface designed to keep us sane. The truth is far more fluid, far more terrifying, and infinitely more liberating. You are not on a single track. You are navigating an infinite ocean of probabilities, and every time you change, every time you evolve, every time your internal frequency shifts, you don't just change your future. You shift the bridge that connects you to your past. I also made a free ebook called The Magic of Affirmations to help you stabilize new timelines and identities. You'll find the link waiting in the description. To understand why this happens, we must look beyond the surface level of pop culture anomalies and explore what I call the Mandela Bridge Theory. Imagine for a moment that your consciousness is not a static entity, but a traveler. You are constantly moving across a vast network of potential realities. Most of the time, these movements are microscopic. You decide to have coffee instead of tea, and you shift to a reality where that choice was made. The bridge between the you who wanted tea and the you who drank coffee is short, seamless, and unnoticeable. Your memory remains consistent because the two timelines are nearly identical. But what happens when you undergo a massive internal transformation? What happens when you decide with every fiber of your being that you are no longer a victim, but a victor? What happens when you shift your identity from one of scarcity to one of abundance, or from heartbreak to wholeness? This is where the bridge lengthens. This is where the gap between probabilities widens. The Mandela Bridge is the mechanism your subconscious uses to transport you from one timeline to another. But here is the secret that physics is only just beginning to whisper about. You cannot bring the old baggage across the new bridge. To exist in a reality where you are successful, happy, and thriving, you cannot hold on to a past that contradicts that state. And so, as you cross the bridge, the universe performs a kind of retroactive editing. It aligns your history with your new destiny. The memories that no longer serve the frequency of your new identity begin to fade, or they are rewritten entirely. But the process is not always perfect. Sometimes you cross the bridge, but a fragment of the old baggage comes with you. You arrive in the new timeline, the new probability, but you are still holding a memory from the old one. That memory is what we call a Mandela effect. It is not a mistake, it is residue. It is the sand on your shoes from a beach you left behind. This is not science fiction. This is the intersection of quantum mechanics and the architecture of the human soul. When we look at the quantum foundation of this phenomenon, we must confront the concept of superposition. In the quantum realm, a particle does not exist in a single state until it is observed. It exists in all possible states simultaneously. It is a wave of pure potential. Only when consciousness interacts with it does the wave collapse into a single particle, a single reality. Now, apply this to your life. Your past, present, and future are all existing in a state of superposition. Every possible version of you, every possible history, every possible outcome is happening right now in the vast, shimmering wave function of the universe. When you identify as a specific person, when you lock into a specific frequency of self, you are the observer collapsing the wave. You are selecting one specific timeline out of the infinite options. But the neuroscience of identity tells us that memory is not a video recording, it is a reconstruction. Every time you remember something, you are rebuilding it from scratch, using the neural pathways available to you in the present moment. If your present moment changes, if your identity shifts, the materials you have available to reconstruct the past change as well. This is why the Mandela effect is so often dismissed as false memory by skeptics. They are analyzing it from a materialist perspective, assuming there is only one fixed history. They fail to account for the observer effect on a macro scale. If you shift your consciousness, you shift your point of observation. And if you shift your point of observation, the timeline you are observing changes. You are not misremembering the past of this reality, you are accurately remembering the past of a parallel reality that you used to inhabit. Think about the implications of this. It means you are not tethered to your trauma. It means the past is not a prison sentence, it is a fluid library of probabilities. The Mandela effect is merely a symptom of a much grander process, the subconscious timeline switching that occurs when we evolve. We focus so much on the logos and the movie lines because they are tangible shared reference points. We argue about whether it was Berenstain or Berenstain because it is easier than confronting the reality that our personal histories are just as malleable. The collective Mandela effects are simply the result of mass shifts in consciousness, large groups of people crossing the bridge together, perhaps triggered by major cultural events or shifts in the planetary frequency. But the personal Mandela effects, the ones you are afraid to talk about, are the ones that prove the theory. Consider the story of a man we will call Elias. Elias spent most of his 20s in a state of deep financial struggle and anxiety. He identified as the unlucky one, the person for whom things always went wrong. He had a vivid memory of a specific conversation with his father, a brutal argument in a rusted red sedan where his father told him he would never amount to anything. That memory was the cornerstone of his identity. It was the weight he dragged across the bridge of his life every single day. But then, Elias began to do the work. He started meditating. He began to rewrite his internal narrative. He used affirmations, not just as empty words, but as tools to dismantle his old frequency. He began to embody the feeling of worthiness. He spent months convincing his subconscious that he was capable, loved, and successful. Slowly, his external reality began to match his new internal state. He got a promotion. He met a partner who cherished him. His bank account grew. He had crossed the Mandela Bridge into a new probability. But here is the glitch. Years later, at a family gathering, he brought up that argument in the red sedan. He wanted to tell his father that he had forgiven him. He described the rain on the windows, the smell of old upholstery, the stinging words. His father looked at him with genuine confusion. "Elias," his father said, "I never owned a red sedan, and I certainly never said that to you." Elias laughed, thinking it was a joke. He asked his mother. She confirmed it. "Your father drove a blue truck until you were 16, and then we had the station wagon. We never had a red sedan." Elias froze. The memory was as real to him as his own hands. He could still smell the upholstery. But in the timeline where he was successful, in the timeline where he was worthy, that argument could not exist. The version of his father who would say those things did not belong in this new reality. Elias had shifted so profoundly that he had collapsed a timeline where the trauma never happened. The memory he held was residue. It was a ghost from a dead probability. He was experiencing a quantum memory glitch, a personal Mandela effect born from an identity shift. The red sedan was real, but it belonged to the Elias who believed he was a failure. The Elias who sat at that dinner table, successful and whole, had no history of a red sedan. The bridge had burned behind him, leaving only the phantom scent of rain and rust. This is the power of the subconscious as a timeline selector. Your subconscious mind does not know the difference between what is real and what is imagined, but it knows frequency. It acts as a homing beacon, constantly scanning the multiverse for the reality that matches the signal you are broadcasting. If you broadcast fear, it finds the timeline where there is something to be afraid of. If you broadcast gratitude, it bridges you to the timeline where there is plenty to be thankful for. Most people drift through these shifts unconsciously, buffeted by the winds of emotion and circumstance. But the Mandela Bridge Theory invites you to take the wheel. It invites you to consciously choose the bridge you want to cross. But be warned, to cross the bridge, you must be willing to let go of who you were. We often cling to our old stories, even the painful ones, because they give us a sense of continuity. We say, "I am this way because X happened to me." But if you want to shift to a reality where X no longer defines you, you must be prepared for X to fade or even to disappear from the record entirely. This brings us to another story, one of a woman named Sarah. Sarah had a physical scar on her arm from a childhood bicycle accident. It was a jagged, white line that she had looked at every day for 30 years. It was part of her body map. Sarah began a profound spiritual journey, diving deep into the nature of reality and healing her inner child. She did intense visualization work, seeing herself as perfect, whole, and unblemished. She wasn't trying to remove the scar, she was simply connecting with a version of herself that felt pure joy and physical perfection. One morning, she stepped out of the shower and began to dry her arm. She stopped. The skin was smooth. The jagged white line was gone. Not faded, gone. She panicked. She rubbed the spot, thinking it was a trick of the light. She looked at old photos. In the photos on her phone, the scar was there, but when she looked at the physical photo album in her living room, the scar was missing from the pictures. She felt a wave of dizziness, a sensation often reported by those experiencing a parallel reality shift. Her reality was reorganizing itself around her new self-concept. The photos on her phone were digital residue, perhaps lagging behind the physical shift, or perhaps evidence of the glitch itself. But her physical body had jumped. She had crossed a bridge into a timeline where she had fallen differently or healed perfectly. The skeptics would say she was mistaken, that the scar was never there, or that she was hallucinating. But Sarah knew. She had lived in one body, and now she inhabited another. She had hacked the simulation. These stories illustrate the mechanism of the quantum Mandela Bridge Protocol. It is the realization that you are not fixed. You are a fluid consciousness moving through a multiverse of fixed options. You do not change the world, you change yourself, and the world rearranges to accommodate you. This is why the law of attraction often feels like hard work, while the law of assumption, assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, works like magic. Attraction implies you are pulling something towards you across a distance. Assumption implies you are simply stepping onto the bridge where that thing already exists. So how do we consciously utilize this bridge? How do we navigate the quantum foam without getting lost in the confusion of mismatching memories? We must understand the mirror principle. Reality is a mirror, but unlike a bathroom mirror, which reflects instantly, physical reality has a time delay. It is a lagging mirror. The reflection you see around you right now, your bank balance, your relationships, your job, is a reflection of who you were yesterday, last month, or last year. It is old news. The mistake we make is looking at the reflection and thinking it is the source. We look at the empty bank account and say, "I am poor." The mirror says, "Okay, you are poor," and the reflection hardens. To cross the Mandela Bridge, you must learn to ignore the mirror. You must withdraw your attention from the current reality, which is just the dying echo of your past vibrations, and place your attention entirely on the feeling of the reality you wish to inhabit. You must become the person who lives in that timeline before the timeline appears. This creates a frequency dissonance. Your internal frequency no longer matches your external reality. The universe hates dissonance. It seeks equilibrium. Since it cannot change your frequency because you are holding it with your free will, it must change the external reality to match you. It must build the bridge. Let us try this now. Wherever you are, I want you to unhook your focus from the room around you. Don't close your eyes. Just soften your gaze. Look through the screen. Feel the weight of your body, but understand that this body is just an avatar in the current timeline. There is another version of you, a version that exists right now in a parallel probability, who is living the life you dream of. That version of you is not stressed. They are not waiting for something to happen. They are already there. Can you feel their heartbeat? Can you tune in to their thoughts? They are thinking thoughts of gratitude, of ease, of excitement. They remember a past that supports their success, not one that justifies their failure. Now, imagine a bridge of light extending from your heart to theirs. It is a bridge of pure frequency. As you breathe in, imagine you are pulling their reality towards you. As you breathe out, imagine you are releasing the density of your current timeline. Let go of the memories that argue for your limitations. Let go of the facts that say you can't have what you want. Those facts belong to the old timeline. They are true there, but they are not true here, on the bridge. Feel the shift. It is subtle. A lightness in the chest, a tingling in the hands. This is the sensation of the anchor lifting. You are drifting. The subconscious is receiving the new command. It is beginning to scan the sector for the coordinates of your new identity. You might feel a sudden wave of exhaustion or a burst of energy. You might hear a ringing in your ears. These are the physical symptoms of the timeline jump. Do not be afraid. You are the captain of this ship. As you stabilize in this new feeling, you must understand that the transition might be disorienting. You might experience the Mandela effect firsthand. You might go to your favorite coffee shop and find it has been closed for years, even though you were there last week. You might find a book on your shelf you don't remember buying. You might remember a friend's birthday being in June, but they insist it is in August. Do not correct them. Do not argue with the reality you have arrived in. Smile. These are the road signs that you have moved. These are the glitches that confirm the system is rewriting itself around you. The skeptics call it false memory. We call it quantum residue. When you understand the Mandela Bridge Theory, you stop fighting the inconsistencies. You stop trying to prove you are right to people who are living in a different history. You realize that you have simply traveled further than they have. You have walked across the bridge of identity and arrived at a new shore. Your memory is not failing. It is expanding. It is holding the data of multiple timelines simultaneously. This brings us to the profound realization that there is no objective reality. There is only the consensus reality we agree upon, and that consensus is fraying. As more and more people awaken to their power as observers, the collective timeline is fracturing. We are seeing more Mandela effects because more people are jumping. We are no longer marching in lockstep. We are exploring the infinite variations of the game. When you fully integrate the mirror principle, you realize that your identity is the projector, and the world is the screen. If you don't like the movie, you don't yell at the screen. You change the film in the projector. You change the story you tell yourself about who you are. And when you do that, the bridge appears. The subconscious timeline switching mechanism engages. The quantum wave function collapses into a new pattern. So, the next time you swear that a movie title was different or that a celebrity died years ago, don't brush it off. Pause. Allow yourself to feel profound awe. Recognize it for what it is. It is a validation. It is the universe whispering to you, you have changed. You are not the same person who was here yesterday. You have shifted. The reality glitch is your diploma. It is the proof of your graduation from one state of being to another.
We are living in a time of great fluctuation. The veils between the timelines are thinning. The quantum Mandela Bridge is open for traffic. The question is not whether reality is jumping. The question is, where do you want to jump to? What identity do you want to wear? What history do you want to remember? Because the choice is yours. The past is as flexible as the future. You can choose a timeline where you were always loved, always supported, always destined for greatness. You just have to be brave enough to cross the bridge and leave the old story behind. Before you go, tell me in the comments, what's one memory you swear happened, even though this timeline says it didn't? I read every story, and often I see the patterns of people who have shifted together. We are all travelers here, swapping notes on the different worlds we have visited. If this opens something inside you, tap like so more people find the truth behind their reality glitches. The algorithm is just another reflection of the collective consciousness, and your interaction helps guide others to the bridge. And don't forget to download the Magic of Affirmations. It will help you stabilize the identity of the timeline you actually want to live in. It is the anchor you need when the waves of probability get high. It is the tool to keep your projector focused on the movie you want to watch. You are not glitching. You are shifting, and reality is trying to keep up with who you're becoming.